the Knoxville National Way. They're lean, they're mean, they're 700 horses, a man and machine. They're full wide. Green flag, showtime. The Knoxville Nationals are green.
Sorry about that, folks. I'm getting things situated here. We get set to rock and roll. Sorry, I didn't mean to have it there out of black screen. We get set to rock and roll from Lanier tonight. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Got to check everything, make sure that... Nope, there we go. How's that? No, still nothing. There we go. There we go. Now, there, perfect. All right, as we get everything situated, ready to rock and roll here tonight from Lanier. Everything looks good. Hopefully everybody's really enjoying the show so far. Now we got a great field of drivers here. Got about 20 drivers here. So probably have 2 heats, maybe 18 drivers as they get set to rock and roll here. I was just looking over the points and noticing that for the small blocks, which we currently have on the track right now, The guy in the lead spot of points. The guy in the lead spot of points right now is not on track right now, but let's see. There's Sam Bachman in the 007. There he is sitting down there in the pits. We can get a little bit of a better view of him here. Ah! There we go. There's 007 sitting down there in the pits behind his box. Randall Dixon out here in the 011. Coming around there off the corner. Working as they can to get us the best show here tonight. And it is top of the hour. We should be getting ready to go green here. And I'm sorry, this is apparently goofing up again tonight. Give us a moment. We'll get the ticker back up and running. Should be anyway. Come on. You're not going to be nice? All right, you, come on. Here we go. Qualifying is underway. Going to see who comes out on track first. There we see Brian Moore, Sr. He's out there on track, and you'll see some other drivers' names down there along the bottom side of your screen. Harold Klump coming out there at pink for a split moment. Ends up falling back into the green as we're watching Brian Moore out here and see where he can bring it as they work here off the corner. And sorry, I didn't realize that the cars were not turned on. There we go. That's better. Everything works out here through off the corner. Trying to get this to where it'll show the all right, well, give me a moment here as we try to get this situated once again. It's being a pain in the rear again. It gave me a little bit of an issue last night, too, so just bear with me a quick moment as we try to get the scoreboard up for you folks there who are watching. Are we not going to give us what we want here? We want to see what's going on. All right. I don't know what's going on here, why we're not seeing it. We try to get things situated. Oh, no. Okay, good. I got worried there for a moment. Heat 1 is coming up here onto the board. As the K's want to give me a slight issue here. See if we can get it kicked over or not. I try to get to where we can see the grid and cannot, but looks like we got Harold Klump starting there on pole, William Watson there second, Scott Rion there third, Sam Bachman fourth, Brandon Templeton there in fifth, Trevor Guru back here in sixth, Bob DeGood there in seventh, John Dubai in eighth, D.B. Runkle back here in ninth, and Jeff Barker back in, well, D.B. Runkle's supposed to be in 10th, Jeff Barker there in ninth. I think I'm rolling through here. Why are you not working here tonight, SDK? This is getting a little crazy here. And they come here off the start, ready to make some action. And down here in the corner number 1 they go. Side by side as they fight. Here comes that 23 of William Watson up there into the outside. Here we go. Now we're getting somewhere on my end. I don't know about this end here on. There we go. Well, we got it up here as William Watson gets up there to the outside. Scott Rione down on the inside. Look out. Here comes the 2 of Harold Klump as he comes down there into the middle area through turns 1 and 2. Working there off of 3 and 4 now as they work down back into turn number 1. Back around off of 2. Back out on that backstretch. Out front, William Watson and Scott Rione trying to battle it out there up front. D.B. Runkle struggling back here towards the back as he's bringing up the rear. We've got the 21 of John Dubai there in 9th. Jeff Barker there in 8th. Bob the Good 7. Trevor Garou there in 6th. 5 to go here in heat number 1. Down there on the bottom side, you got the 4 of Scott Rione with William Watson up there to the outside in that number 23 for Full Throttle Motorsports. They work down the back stretch here in the corner number 3 and 4. Can barely make it out there on that machine as they fight here off at corner number 3 and 4. There you see them with the 007 Sam Bachman, your points leader, as we were saying here. Brandon Templeton there in 5th. Trevor Garou there in 6th. Bob the Good 7th. John Dubai sitting here in 8th as they roll here off the corner. Now D.B. Rumble getting around Jeff Barker to get himself up in the 9th position. He's going to have a struggle here tonight trying to work his way up through the field. But hey, everybody makes it tonight. We work on down there off of turn 3 and 4, back across that front straightaway, up there across the top. William Watson, Scott Rione trying to get up there towards the front, ends up falling back second as the 23 of William Watson gets up there to the outside. Sam Bachman down there on the inside trying to get that bottom lane to work. Here they come off the corner, down here through turn, into turn number 1. That track getting really slick out there now as they work here off of into turn number 1. I'm sorry, I did not see the checker flag wave as we got Scott Rione out there in that first spot. We'll go ahead and take a look at your Heat 1 results. Heat 1 results, that's going to be William Watson in first, Scott Rione second, Harold Klump third, Samuel Bachman there 4th, Brandon Templeton there 5th, Trevor Garou there in 6th, Bob the Good 7th, John Dubai in 8th, D.B. Runkle finishing the night in 9th with Jeff Barker in 10th. All right, lining up here on the grid for heat number 2. Anthony Morado out front. You got Joseph Grandi there in 2nd. Kurt Schatzer in 3rd. Mike Brewer 4th. Dylan Kinsey rolls off tonight 5th. Chase Matsko there 6th. Randall Dixon 7th. Mason Hine there in 8th. And rounding out your heat 2 here tonight is Brian Moore in that 9th spot. Now we only have 2 heats here in the 358 division as they get ready to rock and roll here with this one. Working off the corner, everything looks exciting as we see Morano out there on the front. There you see that 26 machine of Chase Matsko. As they work down that back stretch, down in the corner, number 3 and 4. Pace cars off. We're getting ready for that green flag. Green flag drops, and we're down the way a little bit of checkup up there on the top side as they come here getting onto the loud pedal. Kurt Schatzer there in 3rd, down there on the bottom side in that 218, the 390 up there on the top side. Anthony Morano trying to make that bottom side work, but it has a lot of slick spot down there. Jason Grandi out there on the outside in that 518. He's going to try to make that outside work, but Morano getting a little bit of an edge down there along, getting into the slick there, has to try to ride it through. Up there through off of turn number 3 and 4. They're side by side as they work on down through. Mason Hine back here in 6th. Chase Matsko rolling around in 6th. He's there through the slick, and I need to try to get up there off that slick spot a little bit. As riding through that slick, it's going to kind of slow you down a little bit. You kind of need to get some traction one way or another. But I'm seeing a lot of them running through that slick, so it's just a matter of, are you spinning your wheels or are you not? So you got to really pay attention to that throttle control. Coming there off of turn number 4. Morano out front. Grandi there in 2nd. Brewer there 3rd. You got Schatzer backing up in the fourth. As they're battling side by side, Mason Hine there in fifth. Where is our scoreboard here? We got 3 laps to go. Working there off the back. Here comes Randall Dixon there in 8th. Brian Moore in 9th. Dylan Kinsey there in 7th. And out front, Anthony Morano with Grandi there in 2nd. Schatzer 3rd. Brewer now up to 3rd as he comes across the line. There on the bottom side, it's Schatzer as he tries to make something happen there. 2 laps to go, coming around out of turn number 4. Soon to be 1 to go here in heat number 2. Down here across in the turn number 1. Still side by side there for 2nd and 3rd. As these 2 drivers battle it out. Anthony Morano coming here out of turn number 4 right now, holding on to lead. As he comes out, that's going to put him top side in the feature. As they roll here off the corner, we've got Kurt Schatzer there in 4th, Mason Hine in 5th. Chase Matsko rolls there in 6th. All right, here we go as the results come in. Anthony Morano taking in the lead with Joseph Grandi there in 2nd. Mike Brewer there 3rd. Kurt Schatzer 4th. Mason Hine there in 5th. Chase Matsko 6th. Dylan Kinsey there 7th. Randall Dixon there 8th with Brian Moore in 8th. So as we got a moment here, now I will go ahead and talk about the points. Now we see Sam Bachman out there on track. Go ahead, give a shout out here to the points. With Sam Bachman out there in front of the leaderboard, 4 points with 475 points. In second is Trevor Guru with 427. Right behind him is Kelly Wheeler. Anthony Morano, even though he's putting on quite a show here in the last couple of weeks, he's sitting in 4th with 418 points. Blake Dobson in 5th. So that's your top 5 in points. Now they all work down through here off the corner. Doing a great job here. We've got just a few more moments of warm-ups to go. Less than a minute. Track's going to be a slick one here for the feature. Hopefully everybody's ready for a great showdown. Ronald Family Farms watching on Coast to Coast Racing Network. Thank you here watching. We know you're out on track as well trying to make something happen. Both those drivers, Chase Matsko and Davey Runkle, running for Flicker Farm Motorsports. Hey, Runkle's got it there on the hood cowling. And Chase Matsko, it's there on the back, the inside back. We hit the time limit there for warm-up. Race info for tonight. We have the track temperature at 69 degrees. You have 69 degrees as the ambient temperature, 96% humidity, partly cloudy with 4-mile-per-hour wind. So that's definitely why we're seeing the track slicking off some the way we are. We get set here. The grid for tonight. William Watson starting on pole with Anthony Morano there in second. Scott Rione there third. Joseph Grandi in fourth. Harold Klump rolls off tonight on inside row number 3 in 5th, with Mike Brewer to his outside in 6th. Row number 4, that's going to be Samuel Bachman back there in 7th on the inside with Kurt Schatzer in 8th. Brandon Templeton there in 9th, rolling on the inside of row number 5 with Mason Hine there to his outside. Row number 6, that's Trevor Giroux with Chase Matsko to his outside. In row number 7 on the inside in 13th position, that's going to be Bob the Good with Dylan Kinsey there in 14th. Joined by 15th with Randall Dixon in 16th. And at row number 9 on the inside is going to be D.B. Runkle with Brian Moore in 18th. Jeff Barker rounds out your field tonight in 19th. Lights are out on the pace car, going to be going green flag next time by as everybody gets acclimated to the track, trying to figure out where the best spot is for them to go as they get fired up, ready for another night of racing here at Coast to Coast Racing Network and Flaker Farm TV on the pole here tonight. Up the corner they go. Here we go. Down and away. Down into corner number 1. William Watson. Scott Riome there on the bottom side. You got Joseph Grundy there 3rd. Harold Klump there 4th. Samuel Bachman 5th. With Mike Brewer back there 6th. They all battle. Oh, no. Anthony Morocco around. Collecting the field. Who's going to make it through? Who is it? It looks like the 2 is going to be sideways. Caution is out as we have them piled up back here. Broken car there for the 26 machine. We'll have to see if he comes into the pits, gets a fast repair on that thing, as that front steering does look a little bit, as I would say, out on the farm, cattywampus. Take a back, take another look at it here. Well, Anthony Morano really struggled there coming through the corner. I think he just got into that gas a little too early. Ends up breaking traction and sliding it sideways. Where is it at here? So the caution come out when the track became blocked. We got to back it up here to see what exactly happened. We see the 4 down there on the inside, really battling hard. Down there comes the 23, Morano, and it looks like maybe the 4 gets into him a little bit, and then everybody just piles in. Let's go ahead and take another look at it here. See if we can get it from DB's point of view as they come through. We'll get green flag racing right here after this. So out of DB's point of view, we'll see him here stacking up. See how he makes it through here. Just coming down into turn number 3. Here, there you see it. The field just stacks up. Not too bad, not too bad. Great move working through that there, Runkle. And we get back live here, get ready for the green flag. Come here out of the corner now with 3 out of the 30 complete. As they work here off of turn number 2, back down around that back, off the front stretch. Here into turn 1 and 2 now. As we've got the 23 of William Watson out front. Samuel Bachman there 2nd. Got Chase Matsko back here in the back after that problem there early on. That put Kurt Schatzer lap down as he's now out of this one. As Morano really struggling tonight. Up here in the slick stuff as they work here off the corner number 3 and 4. They're 3 wide behind them. Now they work here off of 2. There you see that 007. Your point. Leader Sam Bachman working down there on the inside. Brandon Templeton there in 4th. Trevor Giroux there 5th. Everybody tries to make it through here. And don't pay attention to the pit lane signs. I'll tell you exactly what that is. That's these drivers getting real close down there to that inside row. Down there along the inside line. Up against that wall. On the inside of 3 and 4, and it's thinking, oh, they're coming into the pits, when actually they're just drifting by pit entrance. As you see the 23 of William Watson do just that as he comes there off the corner. And these drivers are really hanging it out down there on the bottom side. That track is really slicking up here tonight. They're coming off the corner, and I thought I saw possibly problem there, but I did not. Here comes Sam Bachman down on the inside now, trying to fight for 3rd. second there beside Joseph Grandi, who is there in second as they roll here off. Might have to do a little bit of camera adjusting here for the next event. As they come rolling off here, you'll see them there. Dylan Kinsey there 13th. Now back into 14th. They try rolling off here. FTv Motorsports all over the track out here with all their drivers. There you see one in the front spot. There you see 007 of FTM there as well. Not sure who Joseph Grandi is there for as he's coming down there into turn number 3 and 4. Great looking race car there. Everybody single file for the moment. As there's 18 laps to go. D.B. Runkle trying to work his way back up through the field as he's down there on the inside of the 55, Brian Moore, who's trying to keep D.B. pinched down there to the bottom side a little bit. D.B. Dotson in there coming into turn 3 and 4. Going to hang it out there. Coming down the front stretch. See if he can hang it in there now on the bottom side. As we got Morano back up there on the outside. He's making some moves, but he's got the 7 of Bobby DeGood down there on the inside. And there is a little bit of grip down there on the inside. He can hang it in there and get a hold of it. Oh no, DB getting into Brian Moore and ends up around. Ends up facing the wrong way, gets it spun around, face to front, getting faced back to correct direction. Now, no caution. And come there off the turn number 2. Watson out front. Grundy there in second. You got Bachman there third. Not what Bronco wanted to happen. Trevor DeRue there fifth. Mason Hine there in 6th. Randall Dixon in 7th. Anthony Morano 8th. Bob the Good there in 9th. And Brian Moore rounds out your top 10 as they come back down here in the corner number 3 and 4. Working on that bottom side here. Coming off now. Everybody's just like a train. Single foul as, oh boy, we got one way up there against that outside wall. That's the 390 of Mike Brewer. He's up there trying to find some sort of grip, find some sort of action in these 358 modifieds right now as they all battle that bottom side. Here he comes working that top lane again. Chase Masco's trying to find his mark out there as well as they come rolling here off the corner. Great job here so far. Only one caution here in the main event. As you see, Mike Brewer struggling up there on the high side. He's good to have all kind of grip up there, but honestly, he's not got the... Oh, out. Here comes Chase Masco. He's up there to the outside as he's going to try to dig up there and find that outside lane. Ends up getting into the 390 there, and he backs up a little bit. Now here comes Chase working that top line. Now he's got the 639. I'm Dylan Kinsey there. Watson out front still. Bachman there second. As we do have caution on the speedway. And possibly looking at Runkle again. Just struggling to keep it hung in there in that slick spot stuff, it seems. And it comes down here into the corner, ends up spinning it around. Too much fuel to that dead tires. Great job getting it spun around back into out of the way of the leaders. But still enough to bring the caution out. All right, everybody's getting bunched up once again. Try to figure out who our leader is. I want to say it's Watson. It is. William Watson out there in front. Joseph Grandi there's second. Samuel Bachman. And I believe because we're under 10 to go, it's going to be single file restart. But I'm unsure of that. We'll see how it goes here. Maybe they'll stack them back up. Everybody works here off of turn number 1 and 2, working back around. Up along that high side, keeping themselves out of that slick, trying to give them some traction. They got Grundy up there in second. Watson out front, trying to see. Pace car pulls off. We're going to be going green flag racing as they come here out of turn number 4, down that front stretch into corner number 1. There comes Samuel Bachman down there on the inside, as we said. He's your points leader coming into this race tonight. Is down there on the inside he goes. Trying to gain every little bit of grip he can, every inch of position. And they come there off the corner. Down into corner number 1 once again. Here they go. Chase Masco. Whoa, have to check up a little bit. Has a 639, slides it up in front of him down the backstretch now into corner number 3 and 4. As you watch that 26 machine down there on the inside of the 639 of Dylan Kinsey, working there off of 2. You see Grundy now there in second. Everybody out front kind of into their position here. Battle going on back here, though, with Randall Dixon, Bob the Good, just sitting back there a little bit. He's under fire by drivers. 5 to go as we got the 31 there of Brandel Templeton with Mason Hine battling it out with Randall Dixon right there behind him. So a group of cars there. We got another group back here. That's the 55 of Brian Moore. Dylan Kinsey in that 639 is a little further back, but you got the 4 there of Scott Rio getting up there onto the outside wheel of Bob the Good. Ends up popping that front end up a little bit. Good job, though, getting it back down and set on the racetrack before there's too much of an issue. William Watson out front. Joseph Grundy there in second. Samuel Bachman third. Trevor Garou there in fourth. Brandon Dixon there in fifth. As they come here in the corner number 1 for the final, or 2 laps to go. Down that backstretch, you see Watson there, Joseph Grundy, Bachman, Trevor Garou working their way down. Templeton in fifth. They work off of the corner. Back down here in the corner number 1. Everybody's working around. Side by side, you see the 89 down there on the inside as they work here off the corner, back down in the corner number 3 and 4 for the final time. Watson comes off. Watson will bring home the win. Joseph Grundy there second. Bachman there in third. Peru fourth with Templeton in fifth. Take a look at our results here when they come in. So, the results are in. William Watson there in first. Joseph Grundy second. Samuel Bachman third. Brandon Templeton there fourth. Trevor Garou there fifth. Randall Dixon sixth. Mason Hine there in seventh. Scott Riom in eighth. Bob the Good ninth. Brian Moore in 10th. Dylan Kinsey 11th. Chase Matsko finishes tonight 12th. Mike Brewer in 13th. Harold Klump 14th. Jeff Barker 15th. John Dubai in 16th. Davey Runkle tonight 17th. 18th tonight is going to be Anthony Morano. Kurt Satzer in 19. All right, so we'll get with our winners here out of out of the first feature here tonight. In third place, we got Sam Bachman. Good evening, Sam. How's it going?
Going pretty good. You?
Oh, I'm doing fairly well here. Doing fairly well. That track seemed to slick it off quite a bit here tonight.
Yeah, it kind of did. It seemed during the feature it walked up to one lane racing pretty quick, so it was kind of hard to pass and pretty much had to prey on someone's mistake to get under them and get some room to pass them.
Yeah, it seemed like passing was very difficult to try to do here, so you just ended up settling there for a third, it seemed. But you had quite the race battle going on all race long in that 007. So you must feel pretty good being points leader. You think you can hold on to that points lead after tonight?
Oh, yeah, I guess I haven't really looked at the points too much, to be honest. I guess I couldn't really tell you.
Well, you're sitting at 475. The guy next behind you is Trevor Garou with 427.
I guess we'll have to see how the drops play out, because they'll probably be a little closer. But hopefully we can just keep on a couple podiums here in these last few races and end strong.
All right, well, you got sponsors and shout-outs you'd like to give for helping you get into that third-place podium here for the 358s.
Yeah, all the boys over at FTM, Gunner at Swan Speed Shop, he's really been working hard on the dig for us. Dean over at Super Dirt Car Series, Expert Installation, you for broadcasting, and Coast to Coast.
All righty, well, it's our pleasure here. And are we going to see any more tonight at Lanier?
Yeah, I'll be in the big block.
You'll be in the big blocks, all righty. We'll see you in the big blocks then coming up.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, next is Joseph Grundy. Joseph, how's it going? You there, Joseph?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. It looks like you guys had your hands full a little bit with the track out there, but you came out with second. Must feel feeling pretty good with that in the 358s.
Yeah, in the beginning there, I was running slightly higher than William there. I felt it was maybe a little bit faster, but with Stan being under me, I just decided it was just fall back in line because I knew it was going to end up going down there regardless, and then went up losing the spot because of it. So, yeah, took the 358 Lanier.
Well, you did a great job there, and we look forward to seeing you. You doing any more races here tonight?
I think that'll be it for me here, so I'll take a second and run.
Alrighty, well, congrats on the second place. You got sponsors, a shout out you want to give for getting into that second place podium tonight.
Yeah, I thank all the guys over at Inferno, Caleb Recovery, West End Home Repair, girlfriend Olivia, all the guys at Coast to Coast, and you, man, for doing the broadcast.
Alrighty, well, great job there tonight, and we'll see how well you can do next week. Sorry, I didn't look at the schedule before we started tonight, so hopefully we'll see you next week.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too. Good evening, William. Here in Victory Lane, how's it going?
Good about you?
Oh, it's going well. A little warm, but it's going.
Yeah, I hear you.
But great run out there. And did you think you were going to do as well as you did here tonight?
Yeah, I'm always pretty good at Lanier. It's just you gotta hold your line. If you don't have too many people out here, it's gonna be bottom. So you just gotta be consistent.
On a track such as this, how important is that throttle control out there?
I mean, it's everything. You know, you saw Granny there. I did a mile slider trying to test out a line, and I saw in warm-ups and got a little loose, and he got right on the tail end. So, I mean, if I was when he ducked underneath me, if I'd have put a little too much throttle into it and spun the tires, he'd definitely got by me.
Well, you guys definitely looked like you were having a blast out there. And earlier on in the race, you guys were side by side, but then towards the end, you kind of singled out there towards the front. But it looks like you had that car set up quite well for yourself tonight.
Yeah, it felt great.
So, congrats. And you got sponsors, a shout-out you want to thank for helping you get into the top spot here.
Yeah, our teammates at FDM, Swan Speed Shop, Stupid Performance, SuperX.com, Being a Dirt Car Series, Youth Broadcasting, Coast to Coast Roasting.
Alrighty, well, congrats. And you racing any more tonight?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Alrighty, so we'll see you in the big blocks coming up then. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's William Watson, our 358 winner for tonight. We get set to roll here with the big blocks, so stick around. We'll be right back.
It's time for another edition of iRacing Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a
bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Right when we talked about it.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us, we wanted to use them for others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and led to a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and it got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
it's time for another edition of iRacing Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be up to the
hiatus, folks. Let's get. We talked about it.
Get ready here for the next event. This is the big block 3v8 showdown. So some drivers might have a 3v8, some drivers might have a big block. What I've noticed is a lot of drivers tend to stick with the big block. Head on down through here off the corner. Randall Dixon out there on track right now. You got John Dubai out there as well. As they work on down here off the corner. Or getting word if I'm looking at things correctly. Shaggy TV cannot make it if I'm understanding correct. So we'll continue here the way we are tonight. Hopefully everybody is enjoying the show as we bring it to you. All right, Runkle, we'll see you there in the pro lates. Hopefully you can bring something live. My frozen here. There we go. All right. Don't know what happened there. I don't know. Something went goofy there. Okay, you got to figure it out though. We're still live. We're still working good. All right. I do agree. Let's go. Here we go. Qualifying underway for the 3v8 Big Block Showdown. We get set to rock and roll here from Lanier for another series. They bring it on here to us from Coast to Coast Racing League, and here for producing it is the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Alongside him here tonight is Bigger Farm TV on the pole, and we're watching Bob the Good there rolling around here. There you see that 639 of Dylan Kinsey. Morano there in for it. Now these big blocks are they're definitely gonna have to run that throttle a little differently here in these big blocks compared to what they did in the 358 to try to keep them hooked up. They run there off of the corner. You're seeing Trevor Garou there out front. Riome there in second. Anthony Morano third right now. And as they're coming around here, we'll take a quick look here at the points for the big block. Anthony Morano is out front with 478. Mike Brewer in second and Clay Christopherson there in third. That is how they stack up here tonight. I do not see Clay here tonight. And who did I say was there in second? Mike Brewer. Now, Mike Brewer in the 390 had not qualified as of yet. And we're looking at him right there, the 390, or 39 rather, of the car. He's sitting there. He'll come through in the second place for Mike Brewer. William Watson, who won the 358s, coming around here. He's going to see what he can do. He's got sixth place at the moment. See if he can improve that time. And he does not. He way down a 13.9 there for that lap. So his best lap being a 13.810. Getting started here with heat number 1. There will be 2 heats, just as it was in the other. Up the corner they go. Everybody's trying to stack up. Sorry, we did not get the grid up right away. Dylan Kinsey starting on front. Anthony Morano there second. Trevor Giroux third. Samuel Bachman there fourth. Harold Klump there in fifth. Bob the Good sixth. Brian Moore in seventh. That is how they're going to roll off here tonight. Green flag is out. They're going to be down and away once the guy yells green. There we go. Green flag is out. They're down into turn number 1 as they fight there. Morano up there on the top side. Kinsey down there on the low side as they battle down here in the corner number 3 and 4 they go. Anthony Morano up there on the outside in second. You got the 75 of Trevor Peru down there on the inside. But look out. Here comes 007 of Sam Bachman as he's trying to get up there with that Swan Speed Shop sponsored machine. Anthony Morano also has Swan Speed Shop there for Full Throttle Motorsports. Now you see the group of them coming down there off the back stretch. Let me know if this camera angle is a little bit better than last race. We backed up our camera a little bit. With Dylan Kinsey there in second. Trevor Giroux there third as they come down here in the corner number 1 and 2. They're 3 wide there almost for first 3 spots as Trevor Giroux is down there on the bottom side. Morano up there on the top side as they come down across. It's going to be Morano. Well, no, scratch that. Dylan Kinsey getting a better run there through the middle of the racetrack. I think Morano's struggling to try to get up there on that top side. Here they come off of turn number 4. Dylan Kinsey getting there out front. Morano up there on the high side, still trying to bring it along. Trevor Giroux there in third. Sam Bachman there in fourth. Harold Klump in fifth as they roll on through here. Bob the Good in sixth. Brian Moore there in seventh as they come down into corner number 1 again. 2 to go here for heat number 2. They roll off onto the backstretch. Morano's still trying to figure out if he can get that top lane to get himself a little grip. As here comes Kinsey. He now brings it up there in front of Morano. Going to give him a little bit of a block down here into corner number 1. That's going to open the door a little bit for Morano to get on the bottom side. Cannot quite get there. Now here comes Kinsey as Kinsey's going to keep there. And whoa, hang on to it there, Morano. Don't want to slide up there. And he does. He gets slid up there and takes out Kinsey as they come across the line to win it here. Dylan Kinsey, Morano. Great finish there. Your Heat 1 results for Thursday Night Thunder. Dylan Kinsey out there in front. Anthony Morano that second. Trevor Giroux there third. Samuel Bachman fourth. Harold Klump fifth. Bob the Good there sixth. Brian Moore in seventh. So your grid for Heat number 2. It's a short grid. Randall Dixon in front with William Watson there second. Scott Riome there third. Mike Brewer there in fourth. Jeff Barker fifth. John Dubai there in sixth. Man, these races are clicking along quite quickly here. As we said, your points lead for here. And got Anthony Morano out front with 478 points. Mike Brewer in second. Clay Christopherson third. Sam Bachman there fourth. Dean Reynolds there in fifth. So, looks like Sam Bachman could possibly get up there closer to Clay here after tonight. And we got two Full Throttle Motorsports cars out there on the front. Scott Riome, William Watson, Mike Brewer, FTM as well. So there's 3 FTM cars. Jeff Barker fourth, John Dubai there in fifth. Rather sixth. Randall Dixon did not take the grid. All right, off at turn number 4 here. 6 to go, now 5 to go. They come down here in quarter number 1. Mike Brewer there in second. Scott Riome third. Jeff Barker fourth. John Dubai there fifth. Randall Dixon not in this race now as they come down out of 4. Coming to 4 to go. Mike Brewer there in second. Scott Riome third. Jeff Barker sitting there in fourth as he's going to try to get that mega plumbing machine up there towards the front. In that 513 to try to get it moved along. Here as you see the 4 of Scott Riome. Fight down there on the bottom side as well. Everybody single filed out here for this heat race. 3 to go here in heat number 2. Jeff Barker back there in fourth. Scott Riome third. Mike Brewer there in second. Brewer, your second in points coming into the night. Everybody doing a great job here. Great looking cars, great looking race as they keep going here. He had 21 of John Dubai. He might be struggling a little bit to try to get that car to rotate. And they come here off at corner 4 for the last time. William Watson being your winner here in heat number 2. Mike Brewer second, third going to Scott Riome. We'll get the better results here in just a moment. William Watson out there, as we said, as your race winner. Mike Brewer there second, Scott Riome third, Jeff Barker fourth, Scott Dubai there fifth, Randall Dixon in sixth. All right, warm-ups are underway. We'll be back after these messages.
these dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and led me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and it got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae in my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in the race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
The grid for tonight. Dang, get things situated here. The grid for tonight is as shown here for the big block 58 showdown. It's going to be Dylan Kinsey out there in front. William Watson second. Anthony Morano rolls off third tonight in row number 2. On his outside is going to be Mike Brewer. Trevor Guru starting tonight on the inside in 5th. Scott Riome there in 6th. Sam Bachman in 7th. Jeff Barker in 8th. The Harold Clump in 9th. John Dubai in 10th. Bob the Good there in 11th. And in 12th there on row. Well, that's going to be it. 12 cars here. Randall Dixon. And it looks like Randall Dixon is out of the running. So there's only 11 cars here for the showing of the big blocks. All right, here we go. As they come out of turn number 4, pace car is off. They're waiting for them to get the green flag to go. They have it. They're down in the way, down in the corner number 1. As you see there, that 639 of Dylan Kinsey getting out there. Great start. Here comes the Anthony Morano on the bottom side there. But Michael Brewer getting a great run on the outside. Here comes Watson, and Watson also gets a run to the outside down there in the corner number 1. That track already getting a slick spot into it in corner number 1. As they work down the back stretch up there against that outside wall, as they come up there trying to get something worked out. As we see Dylan Kinsey sticking it down there on the bottom side. Going to try to keep it rolling underneath the slick. He's got it coming there off the corner now. Now he gets moved up the track a little bit. As they enter through and in off of 4. 3 wide there, Anthony Morano down there on the inside trying to make something happen. And you've got Mike Brewer up there to the top side. Trevor Guru down there in 5th, as we got the 636 of Dylan, or 639 rather, of Dylan Kinsey going around. That's going to help him to lead over to Anthony Morano. Scott Riome there in 2nd, William Watson there in 3rd. They all start chasing down Morano, coming there off of the corner. You see Mike Brewer, and at 390, he's got to try to catch back up there. There you see the 2 of Harold Clump as they roll down here in the corner number 3 and 4. Looking like that 639 of Dylan Kinsey starting to roll once again down there on the bottom side below that slick. Getting that pretty good grip down there, it seems, for the most part, but losing it there a little bit as he had to jump to the outside. Now he's got a car to his inside. That is going to be the 007 of Samuel Bachman as they roll down here in the corner number 1 and 2, back out onto the backstretch. Side by side as they keep on rolling here. The 23, William Watson, there in third. As you got Scott Riome in second, trying to chase himself down a lead. He's getting there, looks to be going to the inside of Anthony Morano. If he can get there, coming off the corner, Morano hanging it out there on the outside. Riome is there, down there on the inside, trying just to get that little bit extra grip, cannot quite get there. As they come back down here, he's going to drop it down there to the inside. Morano up there to the outside. He's got a little bit more of a run down there on the inside that time, but just did not have enough to make that slide and pass work yet. As Riome sitting there second. William Watson there in third. There comes that 75 of Trevor Garou. Down on the inside, that 007 of Bachman. Here comes Kinsey in that 639. We saw him struggle there at the start. As they come there off the corner, 19 laps to go. Morano out front. Scott Riome there second. Trevor Garou there in fourth. And they come off the corner. And Morano in front as your leader. It looked like we had one up there. There's the 75. Trevor Garou trying to get up there and battle with William Watson. Watson drops back into third place with Garou getting around him on the outside. So now the front front four cars are running as FTM, maybe front five, yeah. Front five as Sam Bachman's there in the fifth spot. Come on, we need if you guys are interested in getting into some dirt racing, they're pretty clean here, but they are fast. So it'd be cool to see if we can get somebody in here and start battling with FTM and knocking them back a few spots some nights. As they come there off of the corner. And you say most of this field here tonight in the big blocks is FTM. As you've got Jeff Parker back there in 10th. Randall Dixon did show up now finally there in that 011. So we do have 13 cars on the track. Thought we had 12, but there's 13. Bob the Good back here towards the back. Brian Moore there in 12th. So I don't know why we couldn't get that spot to show up there. I see Morano there in front. Scott Riome there second. Trevor Garou working the bottom side underneath the Riome now. He's going to try to get that working. And he looks like he's got a little bit there down there on the bottom side. But Riome's getting a better run on the top as we got 11 laps to go here in the big blocks. Working there off the corner number 4. Everybody's single file for the most part coming there off the corner number 2 now. Anthony Morano out front with a little bit of a lead. As he's got about a second over Anthony Morano, or I'm sorry, over Trevor Garou. But Scott Riome not giving up as Trevor is up against that outside wall once again, trying to get as much speed and momentum as he can. And the biggest thing with driving dirt cars, you want to be nice and smooth on that wheel and try to keep it almost, and from what I've learned, maybe keeping it as straight as you can. Kind of let it just rip itself around the corner, but in a nice, steady, straight line. In a nice straight line if you can. That's one thing Morano's got for him there. As you see, he's not really turning that wheel a whole lot. And them wheels are pretty much staying almost lined up front to back. And he's steering that car with the throttle. They're coming through the corners onto the backstretch. You'll see that driver there. He's going to knock a few seconds off. But there he goes. Now he's starting to get a little... Now he's still turning that wheel a little bit coming off the corner. But can he run, is he running a little bit faster line? That is what is to be seen. He's sitting up there towards the top. Up there against that outside wall a little tighter. That might give him a little bit extra speed boost. Garou's chasing down Morano in that front spot. 4 laps to go here in the big blocks as they head on down through here. Look at Garou really fighting it down. As you see that they're coming down there, you got Scott Riome there third, William Watson in fourth, Sam Bachman fifth, Dylan Kinsey sixth right now. And we're watching that battle still up front trying to take place. as now Morano has moved himself up the racetrack, trying to run a similar line to what he's seen in his rearview mirror. So Trevor Giroux still gained a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really get up there and battle Morano as they come here out of four, coming into 1 and 2. Final lap for Morano and Trevor Giroux as they come down the backstretch. This is now or never as Trevor Giroux sends it in, trying to save it there. He does not get the pass done as they come there off of 4. Anthony Morano getting the win with Trevor Giroux there in 2nd, Scott Rione there 3rd, William Watson there 4th, Bachman 5th, Dylan Kinsey there in 6th, Mike Brewer there in 7th. Waiting on the warm-up, or waiting on the results to pop up here. Results being Anthony Morano out front as your winner, Trevor Giroux in 2nd, Scott Rione 3rd, William Watson 4th, Samuel Bachman there 5th, Dylan Kinsey 6th, Mike Brewer 7th, Harold Klump in 8th, John Dubai in 9th, Jeff Parker 10th, Randall Dixon in 11th, Brian Moore in 12th, and Bob the Good in 13th. All right, here we go. See who we got around here. Got Scott Riome here, our 3rd place finisher. Good evening, Scott. How's it going?
Good.
Well, you got 3rd place out of that. You seem to have an okay run there.
Yeah, it was all right.
Just all right, right?
Yeah.
Well, kind of take us through that race. It seemed like you guys struggled to pass quite a bit there tonight.
Well, it's Lanier. It's a tough place to pass.
Yeah, we were hearing a little bit about that in the 358s as well. And most of the drivers I've picked up on now, they kind of run the big blocks whenever they can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, everybody was in a big block here, pretty sure.
But you had a great run there. Kind of, how that track tonight, how was it worse with the 358 or worse than the big block? I was just trying to figure out which track was more slick.
It was probably more slick in the big block. 358 seemed a little racier.
All right, well, you had a great run there to get yourself into 3rd place. You got sponsors or shout-outs you want to give for getting yourself into 2nd or in a 3rd place?
All the guys over at FTM, Dean Super Dirt Car, DJ at DJ Sim Shop, Anthony and Trevor for the good run there, putting on the podium. Ingersoll ran, Tony's wife Sherry, Dean's girlfriend Megan. I think that's it.
All righty. Well, you had a great job there getting that 3rd place. And are you calling it done now, or are you running the Pro Late models?
No, I'll run the Pro Lates.
All righty. Well, we'll see you out there here as I think Shaggy had a family. I think that's who Zach is on the thing. I'm still learning some names here. But he had a family emergency to attend to, so we'll continue here with Fleeger Farm TV to broadcast that. So.
Okay.
Well, you have yourself a great night, and good luck in the Pro Lates.
Thanks.
Trevor Giroux, our 2nd place finisher. Good evening, Trevor. How's it going?
Good, you?
I'm doing fairly well, and how are you doing?
Pretty good, not too bad. Can't complain.
Well, you got 2nd place tonight. I know you tried getting up there. You seemed like you battled that whole race long to get up there in the 3rd. Just unfortunately, there wasn't enough laps for you to try to get up there and make that final pass for the lead.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, starting on the bottom on the initial start. The bottom felt decent for the first few laps, and then saw them boys out front running top, so I figured I'd try it out, and it was miles better, and was able to pass a few cars, run the top, and then I don't know, there's maybe 10 to go or so by the time I got to second. So, you know, who knows, right? I mean, another 5-10 laps, and maybe me and Anthony could have battled it out. But you know what? Props to Anthony. He had a fast car and deserved to win tonight.
Well, I know the one guy that struggled was Dylan Kinsey. We're sorry to see what happened to him because he had a great run going out there early on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he started out front, and you know, he belonged out front, and just I didn't quite see what happened out front there with those boys, but yeah, just unfortunate. Took out a couple of good cars. Not took out, but hurt a couple of good cars there, and you know, that's just part of it. I mean, Dylan's he knows that he's got a pretty good attitude with that stuff. So I mean, he knows it's you know, he knows he was fast and could have had something for these boys, but that's just the way she goes sometimes.
Yeah, it does happen, unfortunately. So congrats there for your second place, and you got sponsors or shout-outs you want to thank?
Yes, sir. Got to thank all the boys at FTM here. Good run for the boys. Anthony, Scott, William, Sam, Dylan, Mike. You know, really good showing for us here. So shout out to all those boys. Shout out to Expert Installation, Castleberry Flagstone, JRB Designs, Dean Earls with the Super Dirt Car Series, everyone at C2C for putting this stuff on, and you for doing the broadcast. Thank you.
Alrighty, well, congrats there, and you racing in the pro lates?
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
Alrighty, well, we look forward to seeing you there. Good luck.
Thank you.
Alright, that was Trevor Garud. I will get with Anthony Morano. Morano, how's it going?
Pretty good, Fleeger. How you doing, buddy?
A little warm, but doing good. Think somebody needs to invest in a hair conditioner for my booth here.
Wouldn't hurt.
No, it definitely wouldn't hurt. I mean, I feel like I'm sweating off up here. But you had a great run there tonight. I had to try to work around some trouble there towards the beginning, but once you did, it was pretty much clean sailing out front.
Yeah, I think I just got lucky that Bart and DK got together there and was able to squeeze through the middle without hurting the car or doing anything crazy, and just hit the cushion. And I think another couple laps Trevor would have ran me over, but he was definitely a lot faster than I was.
You definitely had your work cut out for you out front there early, but like I said, once you got around a few of them, seemed like it settled in. Did Trevor make you a little nervous when you saw him gaining spots?
Yeah, I saw him on my relative. He was coming, and was watching on the relative that number was getting a lot smaller every lap, and I was, I was just hoping we would run out of laps before anything else would happen, and luckily enough for me it did, or I'd probably have to be playing some defense there and trying to figure something out to make something happen.
It definitely was great to watch, and you had a great run there. I'm assuming you're going to be running the pro late model since you're leading the points in them.
Yeah, I'll be there for the late models. We'll see how that goes.
Alrighty, well, congrats, and we'll see you in the pro lates then. But before you go, you got sponsors or shout-outs you want to give?
I got to thank my wife Sherry, the boys at FTM, Dean at Super Dirt Car, Swan Speed Shop, Hi Mom Lens, DJ Sim Shop, Vertex Graphics, Expert Installation, Shaggy TV, Rocky Photography. Shout out to Megan and Robbie. Adam, you for doing the broadcast. Never behind the scenes here at Coast to Coast.
Alrighty. Well, congrats there, Morano, as we will see you off in the into the pro late models here coming up in, I guess, another 15 minutes, as I understand, is they don't kick off till 8:30, correct?
Right, we have to wait for 8:30 before we can actually start racing. So.
Alrighty. Well, we'll hopefully everybody here get some snacks and everything and be back here for 8:30 as we get ready to go. Congrats, Morano, and good luck in the pro lates.
Thanks a lot, Adam.
All right, we'll be back here in a little while as we get things set up for the Pro Late models. Everybody stick around. The show is not over.
It's time for another edition of iRacing Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a
hiatus, so let's get. Tonight we'll be talking about it.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash, found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken, I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life and it's the lives of racers everywhere is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
It's time for another edition of iRacing Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a
hiatus, so let's get. Tonight we'll be talking about it.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, good evening, everyone. We're back here at Coast to Coast Racing League, bringing you here the Coast to Coast Racing Network, along with myself here at Flicker Forum TV. On the pool here tonight, we're waiting for the session to boot up here. We got a few moments here before we can take the green. So they're still practicing out here for the pro lates. I would see Runkle out there in the 00, running for real reps. As we got practice still going on here. Watson with a 12.946 for his quick time here in practice. Can he continue with that as we get going here? That is to be seen. So hopefully everybody used the restroom, got your drinks, visited the concession stand. Now we do get ready to rock and roll with John Dubai out there in front. Or John Dubai right now in that back of the blue number 21 machine. Ed Morano out there in the number 32. Trevor Guru out there in the 075. Had a decent run there in the big blocks, just could not pull it on through there. As we got him coming through here, Trevor Guru laid down a 13.495. You got Mason Hine with a 13.623. Chase Matsko on sitting here third with a 13.623. As others still are coming in to qualify. Well, now he's down with a 15.556. Great run there by Matsko. Now Morano's got to show everybody up and go in there with a 13.445. Bachman coming in there as well, so they're very tight here, to be truthful. Very tight racing going on so far as they come out here, as we're looking here at Scott Riome. Riome's out there with a 13.542. Rungle with a 13.654. So he has a little bit of room to kind of pick up on this. All right, heat number 1 on the grid. We have Chase Matt. Oh, come on now. Cooperate here. Sorry about that. I thought I was on the track. Chase Matsko there in front. Scott Riome there second. William Watson there third. Anthony Morano fourth. D.B. Runkle in fifth. But Bob the Good in sixth. Pace lights are out on that pace truck. Matsko played it out. He's starting on the pole. So we got Flinger Farm Motorsports bookending the start of this feature, or start of this heat rather, as they are coming out for 358 modified. Or sorry, not 358. This is the Pro Late models. Normally I'm not doing this, so bear with me. They roll on down the backstretch. Looks like Matsko didn't get that start that he was looking for, as he's still struggling out there. Morano getting a great start, getting up there in the second, now making a pass for first around Riome. Matsko there in third right now, as he's got to try to battle it out there, diving down there to the bottom side. He's got just trying to get that car figured out here as they come down the front stretch. Give him a moment. It looks like he's starting to gain a little bit more out of that car as he comes down the backstretch. D.B. Runkle sitting here in fifth. William Watson there in fourth. Starting to get to the back bumper of Matsko as they come rolling down here through turns 1 and 2. Morano sitting there second, right behind Scott Riome as they come down through there. Looking so good so far. Matsko's got a bumper full of Watson. As they come down into corner number 1 once again. And a little bit of shove possibly from Watson as they come through. A little bit more of a shove. As Matsko's down there on the inside. Not sure when this time is to kind of see if you can gain something up there on the top side, as the Pro Late models are down there on the inside lane right now. I can see this track kind of going up there towards the top, and you kind of see that with the 23 of Watson going, or the 88 of Watson going up there a little bit higher. He is going to get that pass done on the outside. That's kind of what I was figuring. As Scott Riome and Morano are getting together, coming across the line. Watson there third. Chase Matsko finished fourth. D.B. Runkle in fifth. D.B. Runkle ends up with a little bit of left front damage there. So your Heat 1 results are going to be Scott Riome, Anthony Morano, William Watson, Chase Matsko, D.B. Runkle, and Bob the Good. Now our grid for our heat number 2 is going to look something like it. John Dubai, Mason Hine, Samuel Bachman there third, Trevor Guru there fourth, Mike Brewer in fifth. We got John Dubai out there in front. That number 21, back to blue. Got 89 of Watson, or I'm sorry, 89 of Mason Hine. Sorry. Ow! Dang it, bit my tongue. Sam Bachman there third, Trevor Giroux there in fourth. These guys are fast. Lights are out. Gonna go green flag this time. Truck pulls in. They come off of 4. They're getting ready. Green flag is out. They're down and away. Back to blue down there on the bottom side of John Dubai, getting beaten around down there as he comes in and slams up there in front of the 89. The 89 now up there on the top side of Mason Hine. They go up there towards the top side, working that bottom side, that 007 of Sam Bachman. And there we see it, John Dubai up there on that higher line, kind of where I was thinking to be. As you come there off the corner, he's going to hook it up and get out front there. That 89 now down there in the middle lane. That 007 still trying to get that bottom side to work, which does look like he is. So there is still something to go on that bottom side if you can get it hooked up. As they come there off the corner, 3 wide, down into corner number 1 and 2. Everybody's doing a great job here. Off the corner, Mason Hine up there. Now falls back. Trevor Giroux now falls back as the 007 does get that bottom side to finally pay off. He gets it slid up there in front. He's going to dive it back down there against that inside wall. Slides it on up off the corner. Well, we got kind of a slide line going on. What they call a slider as he slides in. And slides up off the corner. And you'll see him enter low and then exit high. And they come here off the corner. All right, down here through off of turn number 1. Got 007 of Sam Bachman, Mason Hine there second, John Dubai third. Trevor Giroux fourth, Mike Brewer in fifth as they come down there off of the final corner. Why that? All right, there we go. Unofficial results as we are here coming off the corner. Heat 2 results coming in. Sam Bachman out there in front. Mason Hine there second. John Dubai third. Trevor Giroux there fourth. Mike Brewer in fifth. All right, so here we go with warm-ups. We'll be back in a moment.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash, found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken, I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, here we go. Getting set for the feature event. 11 cars taking the field. Scott Riom is your pole sitter with Sam Bachman there, who was outside in second. Second row is going to be Anthony Morano in third with Mason Hine in fourth. William Watson rolls off tonight in fifth. John Dubai in sixth. Chase Batsko in seventh. Trevor Guru in eighth. D.V. Rongo rolls off tonight in ninth. Mike Brewer in 10th. And Bob DeGood rolls off in 11th. But I do not see Bob DeGood out there. D.V. Rongo, you know, there you go. Find that loud pedal. All right, come off of here, turn number 4. Everybody get bunched up. Get them cars heated up. We got 30 laps the distance. And off the corner, green flag is going down here in the corner number 1. They go. Anthony Morano down there on the bottom side. Going to try to see if he can get something to work down there as he gets beside that number 44-4. Coming off the corner down there on the low side. 007 running a chop down there across. Entering low, exiting high. Anthony Morano there in second. Now we got Chase Matsko and D.B. Runkle back here just trying to find something. Where did he go? There he is. John Dubai back here, spun around, having issues there in that number 21. Still green flag is out. He makes it to pit road. The 007 of Sam Bachman is out front. Here comes Scott Riom. Anthony Morano's in third. William Watson in fourth. Mason Hine there fifth. Trevor Guru there sixth. Mike Brewer in seventh. Chase Matsko there in eighth with D.B. Runkle in ninth. Everybody just trying to figure out how to get in here. Now we've got 25 laps to go here in the main event for the Pro Late Models. There we go, down in the corner number 1, or 3 and 4 rather. Coming off 4, Sam Bachman out front. There we see a battle going on between 5th and 4th, 5th maybe. No, 5th and 6th. Between Guru and Hine. Brewer back here in 7th. Flicker Farm Motorsports Guru is struggling here at the back. Andy Morano out there in front. William Watson there in second. Or, I'm sorry, in fourth, rather. Scott Rione second. Andy Morano third. Sam Bachman out there in front. Watson trying to see if he can get up there to Morano. We got 20 laps to go. They're coming in, entering low, exiting high. Davey Runkle has problems on the front of that machine as he's taking that left front quarter panel off. Or the left front of that front cowling off, I should say. They come down through the backstretch. Sam Bachman out there in front. Anthony Morano and Scott Rione trying to battle it out, but Watson is there as well. Here comes Trevor Garou with the 89 of Mason Hine there as well. They come rolling there off the corner. Everybody looking great. Off the corner they go. Here into 3 and 4, off of 4. Now 15 laps to go as they cross the stripe down into corner number 1. Everybody single file here. Mike Brewer back here in 7th. Chase Masco in 8th. Davey Runkle in 9th. John Dubai a lap down back here in 10th as he had to come to pit road under green flag conditions due to some problems with that machine. I see them all coming down, scrolling through off of the corner. Down there across the bottom side is the 32 of Anthony Morano. Scott Rione there in second. Sam Bachman kind of blinked out for a moment, but gets it back under control. There you see the 23/89 of William Watson. Coming down into corner number 3 and 4. They are still rolling as well as they can with 13, now 12 laps to go here at Lanier as they're trying to get these cars around here in one piece. Can't say that for Davey Runkle, though, as he's missing that front right corner. They all roll off. I think everybody else is looking okay here. Now we got Morano now under fire from Watson. Watson's getting down there to the low side. Coming off up there along the high side. They are running again as they try to work down that backstretch. All in a line. Here comes Morano taking a shot down there to the inside of Rione. Cannot get it to stick yet. Gonna have to fall back in line. He's gonna take another shot here. Cannot quite. He gets it slid up there. Ends up with a punt there from behind. As the 4 had to check up a little bit and could not quite get it. As Morano slid it up there right on his nose. And now here comes that 23. He's gonna try the same thing, but he gives a little bit more room. That's allowing that 444 to get back down there on the bottom side of Rione. Watson gets up there in the 3rd. Morano in the 2nd place now. As we got 7 to go here in this main event down here through the backstretch into corner number 3 with Sam Bachman out there in front. Anthony Morano there 2nd. Watson there in 3rd. Trevor Garou, then you got Mason Hine back here 6th. Mike Brewer in 7th. Chase Matsko and Davey Runkle back here in the 8th and 9th. And they roll off. Coming off the corner. Trevor Garou up there to the high side. Scott Rione there in 4th. William Watson there 3rd. Anthony Morano there 2nd. Everybody coming down there. D.B. Runkle there in 9th. Chase Matsko. Now you got Trevor Garou. Looks like Mason Hine is up there on the high side as well. Scott Rione there working that high side. You see a little bit of damage there to that machine. He had some contact there with Morano. Watson now trying to get down there around Morano. He's fighting down there on the bottom side. Here comes Morano, though. There, he's going to slide it up and hang on to it. Coming off the corner, he's going to slide it way up the racetrack. Just as the 007 does, and he's kind of cornered. He barely made it through there as Morano's down there on the bottom side. Side by side goes Sam Bachman and Anthony Morano. Morano slides it up there. Now he's going to have to contend there. Watson had to try to check up there. Well, no, that was the check up there for the ending of the race. Great run there by Anthony Morano and Sam Bachman there at the end. Now to see what our results are. As Sam Bachman takes the win. Anthony Morano second, William Watson third, Scott Marione fourth, Trevor Garou there fifth, Mason Hine there sixth, Mike Brewer in seventh, Jake Matsko eighth, D.B. Runkle ninth, John Dubai there in 10th, and Bob the Good in 11th. So that is the Pro Late Model results here tonight. William Watson, third place. Good evening, William. How's it going?
Good, about you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And great run out there. Unfortunately, you just did not have enough there to compete with the two that were in front of you.
Yeah, if I'd had a few more laps or got clean air sooner, I probably could have had them, but they were battling there, so I was trying to wait and see if there's going to leave some room somewhere where I can sneak in there, but it is what it is. It's a fun race.
Well, you still got third place, and I mean, these guys are pretty fast around here, so getting third place is pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
Racing with the best out here.
Looks like you had a lot of fun out there, and just, you know, we watched you race in the big blocks earlier tonight and then jump into the Pro Late Model. Kind of take us through a driver's perspective from jumping from one car to another. Is there that big of a difference between the two?
Yeah, it's a little bit different driving style. You gotta really know how to set the car into the corner with these late models. Just ease out of the throttle and ease back onto it, make a clean lap. Big box is just keep it as straight as you can.
Yeah, these late models, they don't rotate always like you like them to.
Yeah, if you get into the corner, you're not on the throttle like you need to be. It's gonna straighten out on you. You're gonna go to the outside. So you got to get it. You don't want to get it sideways, but you want to get a little bit of a turn into the car.
Yeah, that's what I said. You want to get it to rotate because even though you're not with the 358's big box, even though you're not really turning the wheel, you are technically turning the car.
Yeah.
Oh, but
yeah, like I said, it's this throttle control, just momentum based on all of it. It's just you figure out how to set the corner, the entry, you should be good the rest of the race.
Well, you did a great job out there. You got third place, and who's your sponsor and shout out you want to shout out to for helping you get up there?
Teammates at FDM, Swan Speed Shots, Dude for Our Performance, Gripx.com, Unit Dirt Car Series, you for broadcasting, and Coast to Coast for putting on the league.
Alrighty, well, congrats there for third place, and we'll see you next week.
All right, that's good.
So that was William Watson, our third place finisher. Now we'll get with Anthony Morano. Good evening, Morano. Just not enough for you to completely get that win here tonight.
Yeah, Sam did a hell of a job. I think I needed a couple more laps, and might have been a little bit of a different story, but yeah, I kind of parked it on Scott there. I didn't mean to, but just trying to get up there and catch up to Sam, and almost got there. Needed, like I said, just a few more laps. I think I would have had a little better chance. Could have tried to figure something out with the line he was running compared to what I was trying to do. So, but we'll take second and keep plugging away at the points.
Well, right now, as the points stand, you're the points leader here in both the big blocks and the late models. Now, Sam Bachman, he's right there behind you in the points with the late models. But he's about 100 points behind.
Yeah, we still have the drop week coming and everything, so or 2 drop weeks, so we'll see how that shakes out.
Now, it should be interesting the way the points play out here.
Yeah, it'll definitely be close towards the end there. I think he's actually missed a week too, so.
Alrighty, well, you had a great run there, getting second place. Sponsors and shout-outs you want to give here tonight for helping you get into a podium position again.
Again, I got to apologize to Scotty for putting it on his nose there, not giving him a lot of time to react to it. Big shout out to Sam for the win. big thanks to my wife Sherry, the boys over at FTM, Dean Supercar, Logan at High Mom Lens, Swan Speed Shop, DJ Sim Shop, Vertex Graphics, Expert Installation, Shaggy TV, Rocky Photography, Adam, you for coming out and doing the broadcast tonight. Everyone at Coast to Coast that gets this league going.
Alrighty, well, congrats on getting that second place tonight. And as you were shouting out there for Shaggy TV, we're going to pray that everything goes well for him as he's got some personal family issues going on. So hopefully that all works out for him, and we'll keep him in our thoughts.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, thank you, Morano, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, Adam.
All right, that was Anthony Morano. Now we'll get with Sam Bachman. Bachman, how's it going?
Going pretty good.
Well, you got that win.
Yeah, so really can't complain too much, to be honest. I was a little worried that Anthony and those guys were gonna get me.
Yeah, Morano gave you a good run there towards the end of that one, so you guys had to battle it out good for the end, which is fairly good. I mean, we like to see the races taken on a track like that.
Yeah, it was definitely a pretty racy track, it felt like. And then when Anthony got up to me, we started getting those sliders. I knew that coming into that final corner, I was going to have to block him and not let him get a slider onto me, because if he probably did, he probably would have came out with the win. But it was a good race, to be honest.
Alrighty, well, like we said, congrats on getting that win there. Who's your sponsors and shout-outs you want to thank for getting that victory here tonight?
All the boys over at FTM, Gunner at Swan Speed Shop, he's really been working hard on the dig. Dean over at Super Dirt Car Series, Expert Installation. Obviously you, Flieger, for doing the broadcast and Coast to Coast.
Yeah, you definitely had a great run, and hopefully we'll see you next week because we take on yet another dirt track.
Yes, sir. I'll be here.
Alrighty. We'll see if you can gain on Morano in the points at all.
I'll try. He's pretty tough to beat in these.
Alrighty. Congrats again for the victory, and you have yourself a great night. Enjoy your victory.
Thank you as well.
Alright, that was Sam Bachman, our winner here in the Pro Late Models. As we said, we want to give a shout out there to we want to give a shout out to Shaggy TV, with its thoughts, with him in our thoughts, making sure everything goes well. We'll be back next week as we take on another track, and we'll see how it goes from there. So, thanks everybody for watching here on Coast to Coast Racing Network and Flieger Farm TV. If you're watching over there, we'll be, like we said, we'll be back at the tracks next week. And so keep an eye out here at Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm not quite sure what that schedule is. I'm going to get it, though, so we can promote it here on Thursday nights along with the Flieger Farm TV stuff. So thank you, everybody, for watching, and everybody have a wonderful, wonderful night.